What's up, everybody? Anyway, I hope you're doing great and awesome, all that. God bless you, and hope everything's going good for you. What in the world is that? Oh, that's my hand. Anyway, a reflection. Anyway, I was talking to somebody, and long story short, this is we were talking about. Anyway, they're young, but they were talking about, talking about money. And money is a situation a lot of times is like we're more or less investing, how to invest and all that with the stock market and what to invest in and all that. Long story short is I told him everybody's different. I'm gonna be different. You're gonna be different. Your friends gonna be different. Whoever invests in the markets gonna have their own way of doing stuff. They can be different how they do it. They're not gonna do the same as you are. Some things you invest in, I won't. Some things I invest in, you won't, and so on and so on. And I was telling him the things you invest in now will change over time because the way the market runs and the way your interest will run. And I was telling him, I said, look, if you're gonna look into things to trade quick, like swing trade or day trade, and I was telling them more or less you'll probably start swing trading because, like most people, when they start trading, they don't have much money to put in the market and they have little experience. So I was telling them, buy the things that that's buy the big top companies. Don't buy no junk. Don't buy no trash or shit, or more or less you can call it. Buy stocks and mess that would actually, you could have a background that's been out for 50 years, water, or some's been out 20 years or 10 years, ones ain't going nowhere. Blue chip, pretty much. That way, you pretty much, like Pepsi, Coca Cola, um, Facebook, Amazon, stuff like that, stuff you don't think is going to go nowhere. And it's like a blue chip company, it's been out for a while, you don't think it's going to go nowhere. But I said, don't take my advice, just invest. I says, do your own research and figure out what you're good at and what you like and all that. Because I tell myself, some things I invest in back in the day, I won't invest in now because I've changed the way I invest. And I was telling them also, have no more than about 10, 15, 20 that you're looking at all the time. I said, unless you swing trading or hold it for the long term or whatever, for dividends or whatever, then it falls in a different category. And I also was telling them, I says, what you'll probably end up doing is like a lot of people does, is have different accounts. You're going to have some accounts where you actually put the money in for long term, and then some you pretty much trade. And I was telling them all this. I says, and you're going to have to do your own research and everything. I says, even with the trading accounts, I said some of them going to change. That's in other words, you might sign up for this trade, or more or less for this brokerage firm. You might trade it for another brokerage firm later on because it might be something you didn't like what they done, or they might not be on their game, I guess you can call it. And I mean, it could be anything for fees or whatever. I says, but you want to do your own research and all that because I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You want to do your own research because I said there's millions of ways to trade. Everybody's going to be different and so on. And I was telling that, that when you do invest, I says, you're starting off with probably no more maybe $100 or whatever, because I mean you got bills and all that. I mean, you ain't got a bunch of money put in the account. Even if you did, I'd be like, don't put all that in the account. Put a very little and play with that money. And I was also telling them about paperless or paper trading or whatever. I was telling them all that. I said, you learn from that. That way you don't have no money tied up. And I said, that way you can learn. I says, and do your research. I mean, and I says, the more money you get, the more or less your percentage. I said, because if you get a good amount of money, you don't want to trade no more than 5% into an account, or not account, but onto a trade. That way you ain't blowing all your money away. And the reason I say that is, all your other money is sitting there. You don't want to be, especially if it's a swing trade or whatever, or even a day trade, you don't want to take that chance of losing all your money right off the bat. But I was telling him, starting off, it's kind of not going to be easy to do that because if you're starting off with $100 or $200 or whatever, if you buy, say, Amazon, Facebook or any of those, even any blue chip company or whatever, or any good company or whatever, it's gonna pretty much eat all that up. I mean, it's one share, or you might get 2 shares out of it or whatever. And I was also talking about fractional shares and all that. Some companies offer fractional shares, as knows, if you don't have a bunch of money to put in the account, it'll take a percentage of it and put it in that account, or buy that stock or trade or whatever. And more or less, I was telling whatever. That way, he would understand when he's trading that he ain't got all his money tied up. But the thing is, if he's trading or whatever, and what I was getting at when I was telling the guy, I was like, look, the thing is, when you're trading, everybody's going to be different. You're going to do your own research and just take it and learn what you can. I told him about watching YouTube videos. I said, don't sign up for nothing. Don't pay for nothing or whatever. I said, a lot of times, if you can't learn it from them just for free, for them teaching you, you probably don't want to pay nothing. I wouldn't pay nothing because starting off, because you don't know, because everybody's has got some kind of program out there. Everybody's running some kind of program. They want to sell somebody. And some of these programs, they worth the time is to listen to them, advertise on them, the market or whatever. And he's saying all bad. I'm just saying a bunch of them are. I mean, it's just like, they don't give you no information and whatever. And some of them, like I said, and depending on the platform and everything, some are good, some are bad. If you're going to put your money in some of that, do the research on it. Make sure you're going to kind of make sure you like the person already before you spend money on it. That way, at least you kind of like what they're talking to you. But right off the bat, I tell them, don't spend no money, don't buy nothing, don't buy no course, don't buy none of that stuff, because when you buy it, you really don't know right off the bat either way. Let's tell them more or less play with me, go paperless or what not paperless, but whereas it ain't using no money, it's just paper or whatever. And it's like, it's an account where you don't put your money up account, but you can learn how to trade. And also, when you do that, using a reasonable number. Don't use some astronomical number. Don't go too low and don't go too astronomical. You know what I mean? You know what you're going to do, how you're going to. I ain't saying do $100, but I'm saying, you do 1,000 or 5,000. That'd be a good thing with doing paperless, or, trying to learn how to do it. This ain't real money. This is trying to learn it. So you wouldn't have no money tied up in it. And what it is, you're just trying to figure out how the game plays. And then if you blow that account up, you ain't got no money tied up in it. It's just paperless. It's whatever. There's no money tied up in it. Can't remember exactly what they call it, but they call it something. And quite a few platforms has got it. And I tell people kind of play around if they don't know to understand what that is. And I also tell them to do the research. Regardless, do your research on all this stuff. But anyway, hopefully this helped you out too.